AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3 of We Go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Get the latest on NFL free agency. Get you caught up on everything you missed here in just a smidge. Baseball, Tigers, whoo! Not great, Bob. Losers of 4 of their last 5 have not seen a non-conference stretch like this since 2007 when they lost 4 straight in the pre-conference. Can they get it right? Better hurry. SEC play is upon us. David Dellucci, SEC Network, good enough to hang out as always on Mondays during the season. How are you, Luch?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's our pleasure. Okay, what's wrong with the Tigers?
They don't score more runs than the opposition.
That's a fact.
That's one thing. I don't know. You know, I'm watching the game last night, and I see the shots of the dugout, and I'm just looking at the players' expressions, and they look dumbfounded, to be honest with you. And I don't see a fire in this team right now like I have in the past. And maybe it's still early and they are looking forward to SEC play. But I just remember the first couple years that Jay Johnson arrived as the Tigers skipper, and the change that they had when he was there immediately was absolute domination of midweek games and any team that came into Tiger Stadium, especially from sub-conferences. And here we are this year where you're looking at a young man for Sacramento State that's a freshman that closes the door in Tiger Sten-Alec Box Stadium against what was the number 2 team in the country, and he felt about as comfortable as you could feel in a hostile environment, and that's just not an atmosphere nor something that an opposing team, much less a freshman, has felt in quite some time.
Can they fix it? Or how do they fix it?
They got to fix it fast. They're going to play Vanderbilt this weekend. They've got Creighton coming up, and Creighton's head coach is Mark Kinston, who is very familiar with playing against LSU, as he was the skipper for South Carolina for many years. So Creighton is a better caliber team than what LSU saw this weekend. Pitching-wise, opponents are hitting over 300 against them, but their offense is pretty legit. So maybe the Tigers get back on track against this pitching staff, but they are extremely talented. Maybe they're so talented that they can flip the on switch against Vanderbilt. But when you get to the weekend, you're also playing against a Vanderbilt team that's been subpar recently, but they're number 2 in the SEC in home runs. They've hit 42 home runs. So the power advantage goes to Vanderbilt. Their ERA is a little better than LSU. So who would have ever thought you'd have the Tigers going in against Vandy and giving up some power numbers?
Let's dig a little deeper there on Vandy, Luch. 10-7 in the pre-conference. Very un-Vandy-like. What's going on in Nashville?
A lot of injuries. Vandy has they've lost their starting catcher recently, lost their ace, their best bullpen piece. I think they're down like 7 pitchers. So that has really taken its toll on that roster, and it's just they're slugging. It's a new feel for them, but they're not pitching the ball very well at all. Vanderbilt plays really good at home. I don't think anybody out the gate expected Vanderbilt to be a national contender this year, but they're playing well below what we've seen them in the past play and well below what that roster is capable of.
David Dellucci, SEC Network. Another team that's struggled this weekend and has been hitting the skids is Florida. What's going on with Kevin O'Sullivan's squad?
A lot of errors, man. They had a tremendous series against Miami last week. It's another extremely talented team. Like LSU and Florida, I'm not worried about because the talent level is so high on both of those teams. When they get back on track, they're going to be a force to reckon with. High Point is a decent team, and Florida was a walk away from getting swept.
Yeah.
Because of a lot of errors. The defense was just not good. It was almost as if they were not focused on the game at hand or maybe took High Point for granted. And it could be SEC is rolling around, and a lot of these teams are looking forward to starting conference. Non-conference teams have gotten better with the transfer rules, NIL, the increase in age across the board. So you can't overlook a team that you're playing right now for teams the next weekend.
Luch, if we flip it, Texas still hasn't lost. What do they have going so good in Austin?
Good pitching, man. Really good pitching. The offense is a veteran offense that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. A young man named Aiden Rodriguez is a sophomore this year that is just absolutely on a tear. They're just so solid power-wise. Casey Borba, Josh Livingston. It's a very good team, but as we mentioned last week, they've moved what was the best closer in college baseball into the starting rotation. Dylan Valantes is a Sunday starter. Ruger Riojas is their ace of the staff, and there's no holes, man. There's no holes. It's a typical Schlossnagel team where they grit at the plate. They'll battle you every single pitch, and they're just wearing the opposition out this season.
A couple more for you. David Dellucci's with us, SEC Network. With Brian O'Connor going to Starkville, a lot of people anticipated, look, the guy's a national championship winning coach, that it would go well. A lot of people I talked to before the season, Luch, thought this would be a talented team but young and maybe a year away from being a national contender. How close do you think Mississippi State is realistically 4 weeks into this season to being a team that could push this year to get to and through Omaha?
Well, they're one run away from beating a very good Southern Miss team last midweek. They're one run away and a couple bad calls away from beating the number one team in UCLA. They bludgeoned Lipscomb this weekend 26-0. They scored 12 runs in the third inning. Probably as talented of a position group staff in the country, and some offensive players that are really, really elite. So, O'Connor's demeanor reminds me a lot of Ron Polk and the way he led that program in the 80s and 90s. And I just think he fits in so good with the temperament of the fans. The players really react to him. He's no stranger to the SEC. He's got a calming presence about him, and they've really taken to his mentality. It is a young group, but it is an extremely talented group, and it's a team that, barring any injuries, are probably going to end up in Omaha when the dust settles.
David Dellucci, SEC Network. Hey, Luch, it's the opening weekend of conference play, and look, it's the SEC. There's always going to be some amazing matchups. Look at the docket. If you could only pick one series to watch this weekend, which would it be and why?
We just talked about them. I'm going to go with State at Arkansas. It's the only top five matchup in the country. You've got Arkansas arms against State's offense right now. As I mentioned, they beat Lipscomb 26-0. They've just been running the table on everybody they face. So that all eyes are going to be on that. It's going to be in Fayetteville. It's going to be loud. And what better way to open conference play than having those two behemoths playing each other?
Really good matchups this weekend. Tennessee, Georgia's a ranked matchup. A&M, Oklahoma is a ranked matchup as well. Ole Miss at Texas will be really interesting to see how those two teams manage. Man, excited that conference plays here. Hopefully the Tigers can turn it around. We'll have some better vibes next Monday around Baton Rouge. He's David Dellucci. Dellucci, we always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. It's After Further Review, brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Yo, I just said yo. I've told you all this before. I don't know why I just said yo. But I've told you this before. It's eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. So, yes, you want to get your refractive procedure done with Dr. Blake Williamson and get rid of contacts and glasses forever. You can do that. I got a text earlier today from my brother-in-law, Jeff. He was at Williamson Eye Center today for his eye exam with Dr. Josh Davidson. And he said, awesome. He said, actually, Williamson Eye Center is awesome. Dr. Josh Davidson was great if a referral's needed or referrals in order. Absolutely. I'll shout him out. So the point is, you need your annual eye exam, you can do that over at the Williamson Eye Center. And you should always do your annual eye exam. If you need to update your prescription for your contacts or glasses or get your prescription filled, they got their optical shop. You pick out your frames, your lenses, all that stuff at the Williamson Eye Center. But, of course, if you want to ditch those contacts and glasses forever, Dr. Blake Williamson has a refractive procedure for you. Learn more at williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com. All right, y'all, it's AFR. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, shutters, shades as well. Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. I do want to catch you up on NFL free agency when we come back. Jimmy will be here in 30 minutes for Auto Locks. Picks are already posted at louisianasports.net if you want to get Jimmy's picks right now to get those bets in early. And I also do want to talk about President Trump planning an executive order that is said to be all-encompassing for college athletics. We'll get to that in just a bit as well. Ton to do. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Thinking about selling your home? Call Darren James. Get your home sold. Got a text on the show text line from a listener this weekend. It said, hey, I've heard you talk about Darren James. Did I hear you say that if he doesn't sell your home, that he'll buy it? Yeah. It's the guaranteed sale program, as he calls it. It works like this. Call Darren. I'm going to give you his number in just a second, so get your phone ready. You can type it in. Or text him. It's his cell phone. It's his cell phone. You can text him if you'd rather. You'll sit down with Darren. You'll agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price, by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash, or he'll sell it for you for absolutely free, no commission. Want to learn more? Call Darren right now. Text him in the 225-335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Multi-platinum Grammy-winning superstar Zach Bryan is coming to Tiger Stadium Saturday, March 28th for the Death Valley Live Stadium Series. And 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is hooking you up with free tickets. Register now at 1045ESPN.com for your chance to win.
Saints have been active first day of the legal tampering period. We told you earlier that they have added already Travis Etienne and David Edwards. And the latest addition now here is Noah Fant. So this is interesting because remember, so the Saints have agreed to a 2-year deal with Noah Fant. And if you remember, Fant visited New Orleans during training camp last July. And he was interested in signing. And they were interested in signing him for 2025. Well, ultimately, a deal didn't get done. He ended up spending this past year in Cincinnati, and now the Saints have circled back on a player they clearly liked a lot and have added him now. So Juwan Johnson, Noah Fant at tight end in this Kellen Moore offense. Fant is a fantastic athlete, a pass-catching tight end, 6'4", 250. He ran a 4.5 in the 40 when he was coming into the NFL, but he has been a willing blocker and has really solidified himself as a pass-catching tight end. So during his career, 334 catches, just under 3,600 yards, 18 touchdowns during his career. This past season in Cincinnati, had 41, was targeted 41 times, caught 3 touchdown passes. So now you look at the future of the tight end position, and obviously there's 2 guys that are fan favorites in New Orleans at that position that likely are not going to be back, right? I think most of us understand Taysom Hill, devastating injury at the end of the season in 2024, rehabbed, came back, was just not the same guy, not as productive in any of the phases that he helped with. And when he left the Dome for the final time, it was very reminiscent of Drew Brees leaving for the final time in that playoff loss in the COVID year to Tampa, and sort of looking back and taking it all in. Taysom's final game in the Dome, the Saints' final game in the Dome this year, had that same feel with Taysom with his family on the field, like it was a goodbye. We don't know that officially. I'm speculating, but I don't think I'm alone in that speculation. A lot of people felt the same way. Foster Moreau, similar to Taysom, injured quite literally in the last game of the 2024 season, rehabbed, came back, I think, quicker than most thought. But that final year of his deal after the restructure, the way that it was structured is that 2026 year of his contract was voided after the restructure. So the 3-year contract was 23, 24, 25. When they did the restructure, they kicked money into 26, 27. It was a voidable year. So Foster Moreau is an unrestricted free agent. It'll be interesting to see if the Saints have an interest in bringing Foster Moreau back, or if that's it. It would stand to reason with the investment now that you've made in both Juwan Johnson and Noah Fant. Remember, a year ago, you drafted Maliki Matavao in the 7th round out of UCLA, and you had a lot of guys that were up and down throughout the season. Your top 2 guys here, Johnson and Fant, and then maybe some down-the-line guys for depth that could be placeholders on the roster of the practice squad. Hard to imagine Moreau, Hill back. This feels like that they're addressing that position with a guy they liked that they tried to sign a year ago that now they've been able to sign to a multi-year contract. So Noah Fant is the third key addition here for the New Orleans Saints. I guess it's also worth mentioning on a busy day. By the way, I got to give a hat tip to our guy Ross Jackson over at LouisianaSports.net. I was joking with him earlier that I think he's met his article quota for the year on this day, because he's been just hammering away with all this news. It's all up for free at LouisianaSports.net under the Saints page. A lot of it's on the homepage of the website, but it's all on the Saints page if you want to get it. But the Saints have added Travis Etienne, David Edwards, as we mentioned, now Noah Fant as well, Demario Davis and Alante Taylor leaving in free agency. And I guess the other sort of interesting note here is the Saints re-signed John Ridgeway to a 2-year deal, defensive tackle, 2 years, $6.2 million. And they also added former Tulane punter Ryan Wright. This is, the other sort of notable thing. The Saints have just, ever since moving on from Thomas Morstead, it has been a revolving door at punter. And now they've signed former Vikings and Tulane punter Ryan Wright. Schefter had it first. It's a 4-year, $14 million deal with $8 million guaranteed. So he's 25 years old, so a young guy, big leg, averaged 49 yards per punt this last year. No punter has done that since Morstead averaged 50.1 in 2012. That was a career high for Morstead, by the way. So the Saints finally looked at this and said, enough of trying to go the UDFA route, trying to find someone who can fill that void. Go get a proven punter, pay him appropriately, and be done with it. So that's clearly what they've done here with Ryan Wright. So the Saints, What an illustration of what you're able to do when you're not in quote-unquote cap hell. When you don't have to restructure bad contracts to free up 9 figures of money, where you have to do some moderate restructuring to get back within cap compliance, and then give yourself a lot of money to spend, as they've done here, to try to build a roster around guys that can help them win now. And when you look at what they've done, if you've followed the show, and we've talked about this leading up to free agency here in the draft for the past month or so, I think everything they've done, except let DeMario Davis leave, has been exactly what we talked about here. So y'all know that I have no problem lending criticism to the Saints front office when I think it's warranted, but I think everything they've done here, except for letting DeMario Davis walk, makes a lot of sense. Alontae Taylor got a 3-year, $60 million contract with $42 million guaranteed. Would you want Alontae Taylor on your roster? Absolutely. Do you want to make Alontae Taylor a top 10 paid cornerback in the NFL? Absolutely not. You know the player. He's been in your organization. He's a good safety, box safety, nickel. He's not a top 10 corner in the NFL. No one here would think that. He shouldn't be paid as such. They're right to let him walk. I've screamed it from the mountaintops about running back. You don't draft Jeremiah Love at 8. You don't use the 8th pick of the draft on running back. Go get a young veteran who's proven. Travis Etienne ran for 1,100 yards this past year. Former first-round pick. He's 25 years old. You sign him to a 4-year deal. Typically, you see running backs at age 30 fall off a cliff. Great. You get prime Travis Etienne for the next 4 years in his home state. Love it. And now you can use the 8th overall pick on a player at a premium position that's going to help you immediately. David Edwards, talked about him as well. I would have loved the Saints to maybe make a push for Ed Ingram. The Texans re-signed him before he ever hit free agency. Edwards was arguably the best player on the interior of the offensive line in this free agent class. He is 31 years old, which is my concern. I'm sorry, he's 29 years old, which is my concern, is that you're looking at a guy at 29 that, as he moves through a 4-year contract, will be 33 by the end of that, 32, 33 years old. So I hope the deal's front-loaded so that if he does sort of decline later in the contract, you have some protections. We'll see how it's all structured. But you got to protect Tyler Shuck. You're 28th in the NFL in rush offense a year ago. You needed to go add a proven interior player. You did it. Love it. So the only thing that I disagree with is letting DeMario Davis walk. And why did DeMario Davis leave? A lot of people are surprised that he's going back to the Jets. It was very clear. This isn't about winning a championship. This is about DeMario wanting a multi-year deal at the end, what is likely going to be the final deal that he signs in the NFL. And the Jets gave him a 2-year, $22 million contract with $15 million of it guaranteed. The Saints obviously wanted DeMario Davis back, but weren't going to give him more than a 1-year contract. So we got a multi-year deal with the Jets. He reunites with Aaron Glenn. I get it. I don't love it, but I get it from DeMario's standpoint. From the Saints' standpoint, I would have done that deal with DeMario Davis. He's coming off back-to-back seasons that were career years for him. And yes, I get it. He's about to be 37 years old. Don't care. He's not playing like it. You can look at the calendar or you can look at the player. And the player is outperforming what you would think a 37-year-old would do. It's the old adage I know that they've used a bunch in this organization. Would you rather get rid of a player a year too early or a year too late? Of course, the answer is a year too early. But now you've got a gaping hole there. And I'm hopeful for Danny Stutzman. And I think they drafted a really good player in Stutzman. You've still got Pete Werner sticking around. But interior linebacker, off-the-ball linebacker, and corner now become major needs for this team. Can you address it in the next wave of free agency, or are you looking in the draft? And I think at 8 overall, given now the holes you have, you got to be looking at someone like Sonny Styles at off-ball linebacker, or maybe if it's Mansour Delane or McCoy, whoever they view as the number 1 corner in this draft, you might be looking at 8 at that player to play opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry and replace Alontae Taylor. So, look, maybe they're really comfortable with the group they have right now and at cornerback. I don't know that I would necessarily feel that way. I know we've talked about this a bunch, and I do like Kool-Aid McKinstry. I just like Kool-Aid McKinstry as a number 2. I don't think he's a number 1 lockdown corner. If you're able to go draft an elite number 1 corner, great. McKinstry's your 2. You go, whoever you draft here would be your 1. And then Quincy Riley, who played a lot last year as a rookie, could be your nickel. And I like the way that looks a lot more than McKinstry and Riley as your 1 and 2. So draft now takes on a different approach as far as need. I don't know that you're going to see a lot of mock drafts moving forward with Jeremiah Love being mocked to the Saints at 8 overall, with the money they just spent on Travis Etienne, 4 years, $52 million. And I'm glad they did it. If you gave me the option, I'd rather give Etienne a proven NFL back, 4 years, 52, and use the 8th overall pick on a premium position. See what they do. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here, y'all. Brought to you by Parish Restoration. ParishRestoration.com. ParishRestoration.com. Tons of rain over the weekend. Torrential rain Friday night into Saturday morning. If you had any rain, or Sunday morning even, Saturday night, Sunday morning, if you were affected by that rain, maybe you had water intrusion and you need remediation, Parish Restoration can help. ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. Mold remediation, restoration, they can help. They'll come spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They'll get rid of mold, odor, whatever else you got going on, other harmful pathogens. They'll sanitize, leave it smelling great. It's ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. Not just homes, any type of commercial building, and your vehicle as well. So maybe you had water intrusion in the vehicle, got that sort of musty smell from mold and mildew. Parish Restoration can dry fog your vehicle as well. ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks in about 15 minutes. Remember, you can always get Jimmy's picks over at LouisianaSports.net. Totally free. Everything at LouisianaSports.net, always free. LouisianaSports.net. So get on by. Check out LouisianaSports.net. All the Saints news you want, reporting, it's all there. Tons of stuff from Hunt as well about this LSU baseball team. Struggled through this weekend, losing the series to Sacramento State. What do they do to move forward? Oh, the other, got a hat tip Marler. Did a good job. He has 2 pieces up right now with the whole jersey patch thing in college athletics. He's projecting jersey patch deals for SEC teams. And yes, it is tongue firmly planted in cheek, and I actually did laugh out loud several times, and I would highly recommend you go check it out. Like he projected French's mustard to Tennessee. And I'm not going to tell you why. I want you to go read it. And you want to guess who he picked for Georgia?
I already know. I read it because I read LouisianaSports.net.
Uber. But not for the reason you think. But it was actually the reason you think.
Yeah.
But he veiled it as it's not the reason you think. But it's absolutely the reason you would think. Because you know I'd get mad at him if it was for the reason you think. Because you got to be responsible. I mean, it's a serious thing.
For sure. 100%.
Unless if you're Marler and then you just do whatever you want to do.
For sure. 100%.
Because you're a child in a 39-year-old body. Or 38 or 37, however old he is. I don't know. Mentally a child.
Mentally. Hey, get at heart, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is. When you're trying to be a professional. It's AFR.
AFR.
YourGoodwood.com. Man, we talk a lot. Of course, they do ED treatments, hormone replacement therapy. Want you to learn about peptides, though. If you've heard me talk about peptides, you've heard other people talk about peptides, you need to learn about how peptides might be able to change your life. And these are non-pharmaceutical drug options. Peptides are basically strands of amino acids to help your body optimize its natural functions. Mental fog, you want mental clarity, you want to sleep better at night, you want to have better waking energy. Maybe you have pain, recovery from surgery. I've told you a lot about my experience with BPC 157. NAD+. Maybe you have declining growth hormone levels. They can supplement you to get you to healthy levels there. Learn more. YourGoodWood.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
When we were here on Friday, we did talk a little bit about the Saving College Sports Roundtable hosted by President Trump at the White House with a lot of dignitaries around college sports and then other leaders in economics, several secretaries of state. The federal secretary of state, Marco Rubio, is there. Yankees president Randy Levine, Ron DeSantis, Greg Sankey, Nick Saban, Tiger Woods, Condoleezza Rice. It was an interesting group of people that all came together. One of the things that the president said afterwards is that he'll have an executive order within 1 week, quote, and it will be very all-encompassing. President Trump went on to say, quote, and we're going to put it forward, and we're going to get sued, and we're going to see how it plays, but I'll have an executive order which will solve every problem in this room, every conceivable problem within 1 week, and we'll put it forward. We will get sued. That's the only thing I know for sure. Bro, I remember listening to Rogan talk about him. Like, his comedic timing is so good. We'll get sued. Who cares? We'll get sued. He's probably right. I mean, that's what everything that's happening right now with the NCAA is. Everybody's getting sued. And we'll see what holds up, state, federal law, I don't know. But the one thing that I did see sort of proposed, at least loosely, from the president was possibly having like a stipend paid to the student athletes, like $10,000 or $15,000. So getting, go back to scholarships plus a stipend. That feels like an impossibility. How in the world do you put the toothpaste back in the tube? You go from these student athletes being able to make money at the scale we've talked about, and all of a sudden you're just going to 180, go back the other direction. I just don't see that as possible. Now, again, you can try to put a salary cap in place, but you can only do that if they're employees. So then you would have to declare these student athletes to be employees, allow them to unionize, and then you would collectively bargain. The problem with that is none of the colleges and universities want their athletes to be employees. The most interesting part of this to me that nobody ever discusses is coaches' salaries. You want to solve this problem in a hurry? Stop paying coaches 10, 13, 15 million bucks. Now, I'm also a capitalist. And if that's what the free market will bear for them, okay. I mean, LSU has a women's basketball coach making $3.5 million a year on a program that loses $8 million a year. How does that make sense economically? It doesn't. I mean, and by the way, I want to say it again so no one accuses me of hating on Mulkey or the women's basketball program. I've said over and over, every time we've ever talked about this, women's basketball is a loss leader. It's going to be red on the balance sheet, but you could not take that $8 million that you lose and go put it toward paid media and get the same benefit you do of having Kim Mulkey coach the LSU women's basketball program for the benefit that program gives with awareness and brand and all that stuff. Okay? So I would argue it's worth it. It's worth it as far as what you get for your dollar spent. Now you'd have to decide big picture, is it worth it financially and for everything you spend and whatever. But if you're just talking about an ROI, it's worth it, in my opinion. I just don't know how you ever get to that point. Realistically, I think two things have to happen. One, the market will ultimately settle. because everyone says there's donor fatigue and it's not sustainable. And I agree with that. It's not a sustainable model. It's one. As far as paying athletes as it is right now. Two is you hope there's federal law that allows the NCAA to enforce its rules. Like, President Trump is being funny about being sued, but he's right. That's where everything goes. The NCAA levies a punishment trying to enforce the rules that, like, this is what screwed up about the whole thing. Every member institution of the NCAA signs an agreement to participate in NCAA-governed athletics and abide by the rules. The NCAA tries to enforce their rules, boom, they get sued in state court, and the NCAA loses. So you have to have, hopefully, federal legislation that will allow the NCAA to uphold its rules. Because if the NCAA starts pummeling schools for tampering and for impermissible payments and for veering outside of the transfer portal window and all the things we've talked about, and schools get punished for doing those things, and there's an actual deterrent, then maybe you get back on the straight and narrow between the guardrails. But if the NCAA can't enforce its rules, then it is a feckless organization. There's no teeth behind any of their rules. And so nobody has to abide by it. So you have situations like Xavier Lucas outside of the portal window, transferring from Wisconsin to Miami and just enrolling and walking on the football team. You have Trinidad Chambliss going to lawsuits despite the fact that the NCAA did not grant him his extra year of eligibility, his medical hardship waiver. So, are we going to abide by the NCAA rules or not? Hopefully those are the two things I would like to see come from this. I just don't know that an executive order is actually going to be something that's permissible. It's going to hold up. So, I'm hopeful. I'm not optimistic. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here, y'all. We are brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, shawbillstire.com. We have locations all over South Louisiana. Spring break is around the bend for a lot of y'all. Maybe spring break is the time that you take that family vehicle on a road trip, or maybe for around Easter, you're going to see family. Make sure before you hit the road, you take your vehicle to Shawbills. Locations all over South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. They treat you like family, so they keep you coming back, and they can perform any type of service on your vehicle. You need your tire repaired, they can do that. You need your tires rotated, they can do that. You need your vehicle aligned, oil change, brakes are squeaking, need new wiper blades. Shawbills can do all of it. Schedule service online at shawbillstire.com. Find locations, shop tires, their deals. It's all there online at shawbillstire.com, shawbillstire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it is after further review. And I got our final break of the show. Come back. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks. We'll find out what we're betting on. Been a really good show if you missed anything. Mayor Sid Edwards was in studio with us in hour number one. Chandler Rome joined us from the World Baseball Classic in Houston. Last hour, David Dellucci talking some SEC baseball just about 45 minutes ago. If you missed anything, you can catch it always on demand on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Just search After Further Review or AFR LSU, AFR Saints. If you want LSU or Saints content, it's all there for you. All right, final break of the show. Jimmy's here for Auto Locks next.
AFR.
How cool would it be? Because we buy everything online, right? You buy your groceries online, you can do that. You buy vehicles online, buy clothes online. We buy everything online. What about your pool? No, really. You can do that too. Go to duplessisbuilders.net. Seriously, do it right now. duplessisbuilders.net. Even if you don't want a pool, still go to the website because this is just such a cool function on their website. duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Go to the homepage. There's a Pick Your Pool tab on the homepage. I love this. There's 11 different pool designs. Now, you want to custom design your own pool, resort style, they can do all that stuff, yes. But they have 11 different pool designs Choose the one you like the best. Pick all of your finishes. Tiling, coping, water features, all of it. Boom, right there. You can pay for it online right now. DuplessisBuilders.net. Check it out. It's right on the homepage. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too. And now roller shades. Check it out at reliefwindows.com. Reliefwindows.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. One thing let's do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter. What up?
What's up, Matthew?
Oh, man, licking my wounds from Colucci's beating the other night.
well, he giveth, he taketh away. So,
how distraught is Colucci? Back-to-back offers, bagels.
Yeah. I'll let you tell it. Relay that to him on Thursday. If he wasn't happy this week, I'm not sure he'll be happy this coming Thursday. But light pause before we, after a busy weekend of basically the Power 5 conference is playing their last regular season games. And now we got the mid-majors. And, the mid-majors, it's been upset city, man. Navy with a big upset yesterday, a 30-footer. They were up 2 with the second, a buzzer beater to knock them out of it. That's in the Patriot Conference, the Southern Conference. The 1 and 2 seeds are already gone in some of these mid-majors. And here we go again where they force, and they're trying to rig, at least stack the odds of a real long shot winning these conference tournaments, and are making teams like Georgia Southern play 5 games now, 6 games in a row. Georgia Southern has won 5 in a row in 5 days. This is their 6th tonight. Hot team. Well, that's why we went to the first half here. We bet first half Georgia Southern plus 2.5. 6 games, 6 days against the conference champion. Likely to wear down in the second half. So just the first half bet on Georgia Southern plus 2.5. East Tennessee State against Furman. Furman won a close one last night. They're the number 6 seed. They actually tied for 5th in their conference standings. But East Tennessee State, the 1 seed versus a 6 seed, 4 spot in the tournament. Minus 1.5 is a short number here. I'm going to take East Tennessee State minus 1.5. And then UNO, it already started at 5. They are off to a rough start. They're down double digits to Texas A&M Corpus Christi. A little pause today and tomorrow before we really get into it. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, where the big boys get started.
All right. That's UNO in-game is 11.5 right now. That's.
I wouldn't mess with it.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm going to make turn one loser. If you didn't bet it, maybe. But if, no, I'm not turning one loser into a second one. So.
Yeah, I didn't bet it at 1.5. So I'm going to take.
There you go.
I'm gonna take a little bit of a chance there with the Privateers at 11.5. See what happens. Oh.
They do have some upsets, man. They went to Stephen F. Austin and beat them. They went to McNeese, and actually they had McNeese at home, but lost by 1. In the last week of the regular season. So they have knocked off some of the big boys in the conference.
Let's get nuts. I'm getting nuts, Otter. Let's get nuts. Give me the Privateers 11.5 in game in it. It's March. It's March, Otter. It's mad.
It is
madness.
March.
It's madness in March. We in game at 11.5. Let's go, Uno. It's my dad's alma mater. Let's go. Woo.
Bring back Liddell Eccles and Tim Floyd. Let's go.
Master P.
Master P is at it. They're improved.
UNO GM Master P. Percy Miller. Let's go. It's madness in March.
Madness.
Where are you tomorrow?
Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee, just off of Nicholson. Looking forward to it.
Sounds great. Thank you, Otter.
Oyster Day. All right, good luck.
See ya. All right, so East Tennessee State -1.5. Georgia Southern first half line +2.5. And if you dare, you're going to get in on that UNO bet. You going to in-game it?
No, I'm going to stay away from that, yeah.
Coward!
Well, it's your opinion.
It's a fact. It's not an opinion. It's what it's going to be.
But Dog's going to win 30-27.
See, now it's 9.5. Fortune favors the bold, Muse. Not cowards like you and Jimmy. I'm not going to turn one loser into another. I'm turning a winner. I can't wait to cash that ticket tonight and laugh at y'all tomorrow. Get ready, because here it comes. Straight up your donkey! We'll see you tomorrow.
AFR.
You know what I'm going to do with my winnings? I'm going to Lee Michaels and buying some fine jewelry. Can I get a ding? Can I get a ding? What's that? I feel like I've been really good with those segues and transitions today. I feel like I've been on one. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com is the website. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. Or ladies, maybe you have an anniversary coming up. Maybe it's his birthday. Maybe he got a promotion. And you want to thrill him? How about a beautiful watch, timepiece? So many great options. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, one place to go. The place that's helped Louisianians get engaged for 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Every single diamond, hand inspected by a family member before it goes in the case. You can trust you are buying one of the finest diamonds from the finest diamond mines in the world. And you always get the Lee Michaels experience. So check them out online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.